Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Philosophy for Philistines channel with your host, Bill Reimer. We're also known as Politics for Plebeians. I want to remind you, folks, that I make my podcasts and write my blog with a view in mind to provide people with tools to help them counter the mental pathogens that are infecting this collectivist movement within government and society at large. So I've written some thoughts down because I blame myself for not making my point absolutely clear. Projecting onto others isn't going to solve the problem. The whole purpose of this podcast is to provide people with tools and to give them hope through the use of those tools. So here are my thoughts for today. God forgotten is simply an idol waiting to be forged in an ideology harder than steel. For that is the effect that godless ideology will have on the hearts of men. It turns them into steel. Yes, the steely determination to force social collectivism on their fellows. Therefore, it isn't only nature which abhors a vacuum, so does the spiritual nature of man. Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn's The Gulag Archipelago is a devastating account of the absolute horror wreaked upon the people of the Soviet Empire by the acolytes of the doctrines of Karl Marx. The publication of that book made it virtually impossible for even the most ardent socialists to deny or explain away the murderous tyranny of communism in practice. However, that has not stopped collectivism's disciples, even as socialism has morphed into postmodernism and cultural Marxist theories. Both theories, although not identical, place man at the center of his own universe, with the socialist state at the pinnacle of its ontology. Here are a few quotes from Solzhenitsyn, which defines how within each of us lies both the source of and the cure for the mental pathogen of social collectivism. If I were to ask today to formulate as concisely as possible what was the main cause of the ruinous revolution that swallowed up some 60 million of our people, I could not put it more accurately than to repeat, men had forgotten God. That is why all this has happened. Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. What would things be like in Russia if during periods of mass arrest people had not simply sat there, paling with terror, at every bang on the downstairs door and at every step on the staircase, but understood they had nothing to lose, and had boldly set up in the downstairs hall an ambush of half a dozen people? Again, Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. You can resolve to live your life with integrity. Let your credo be this: let the lie come into the world. Let it even triumph, but not through me. Again, Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. Such as it is, the press has become the greatest power within the Western world, more powerful than the legislature, the executive, and judiciary. One would like to ask, by whom has it been elected, and to whom was it responsible? Again, Alexander. Modern society is hypnotized by socialism. It is prevented by socialism from seeing the mortal danger it is in. And one of the greatest dangers of all is that you have lost all sense of danger. You cannot even see where it's coming from as it moves swiftly towards you. Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. To do evil, a human being must first of all believe that what he is doing is good. Ideology, that's what gives devil doing its long-sought justification and gives the evildoer the necessary steadfastness and determination. Yes, as I mentioned before, steely determination. That is a social theory which helps to make his acts seem good instead of bad in his own and others' eyes, so that he won't hear reproaches and curses, but will receive praise and honors. Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. If only it were all so simple. If only there were evil people somewhere insidiously committing evil deeds, and it were necessary only to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them. But the dividing line between good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And who is willing to destroy a piece of his own heart? Of all the things that Solzhenitsyn said, that is the truest. Good and evil runs through the heart of every man, starting with me. I first have to look to myself, and it is up to me to share the truth with others. The apostles didn't go around whining that people were unconverted. They went out seeking to convert them. They already knew they were unconverted. It's astounding today what a generation of whiners we've become, looking to our leaders to bring liberty to us when the answer to that great question lies within each of us. So from a speech that Solzhenitsyn gave, I believe in Sweden, when he accepted the Nobel Prize for Literature, once we have taken up the word, it is therefore impossible to turn away. A writer is no detached judge of his countrymen and contemporaries. He is an accomplice to all the evil committed in his country or by his people. Please understand that we are all accomplices. And if the tanks of his fatherland had bloodied the pavement of a foreign capital, then rust-colored stains have forever bespattered the writer's face. And if on some fateful night a trusting friend is strangled in his sleep, then the psalms of the writer bear the bruises from that rope. And if his youthful fellow citizens nonchalantly proclaim the advantages of debauchery over humble toil, if they abandon themselves to drugs or seize hostages, then this stench too is mingled with the breath of the writer. Have we the insolence to declare that we do not answer for the evils of today's world? The simple act of an ordinary brave man is not to participate in lies, not to support false actions. His rule, let that come into the world. Let it even reign supreme, only not through me. But it is within the power of writers and artists to do much more, to defeat the lie. For in the struggle with lies, art has always triumphed and shall always triumph. Visibly, irrefutably for all, lies can prevail against much in this world, but never against art. One word of truth shall outweigh the whole world. And as I mentioned, this was a speech delivered by Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn to the Swedish Academy on the occasion of his acceptance of the Nobel Prize for Literature. Well, folks, I hope I've made my point clear. It is up to all of us to change what's happening, and we must look to our own hearts, because none of us are faultless in what is happening in society today. We can go blaming all the others all we want, but that isn't going to do a thing to deal with this issue. I hope these are thought-provoking words to pray about. God bless you, and have a lovely day.